No,
If anything,
we are
it's
actively
pushing
trying to
away.
avoid that
It's
one.
a negative magnet.
I mean, it's a good finisher.
It's the opposite of Marriage Story.
That's what GoFax was in this
Because-
movie. A good finisher.
Welcome to another, just another episode. I don't have an adjective, sorry, we just watched this movie live. Of the FM Podcast. We're your hosts, Mason, Nathan, Price, and Dylan, in that order. And today, Nathan, what are we talking about?
We're talking about a 1985 classic, a D&D inspired tale,
God, Dobby.
Wizards of the Lost Kingdom.
Mm.
Here you go.
Yeah.
One of the dogs just farted.
Uh,
Oh my god.
it's so bad.
All of us here would claim it.
No.
It was none of us.
No.
God. Alright, Nathan, tell us what this movie's
What's this
about.
movie about, Nathan?
Breathe more, Nathan, and tell us what it's
More.
about.
Make sure you can taste it.
Was that?
Oh my god, why?
What? We're absolutely not cutting this either.
Nope. Nathan, what's the movie about?
Oh my god. We're never Price, you're never allowed to host these here.
Okay, this movie opens with about 10 minutes of other movies, just really hyping you up for the idea of this world.
It's like a trailer.
You've got a narrator going over about how this is a world of magic, a world of sorcery, literally just different descriptors for the same thing.
Evil wizards, good
Wind.
wizards.
Evil wizards, good
Water.
wizards. Yeah, and it is wild, but it is entirely stuff that does not happen in the movie.
None.
This movie is like an hour and 18 minutes long. 20 minutes of that are clips from other movies just to pad it out because they couldn't get enough out of what they filmed. Yeah, so the story of this is that there's some kind of magical sword that killed all the evil wizards at some point in the past, and a magical ring that is paired with this magical sword, but they lost the magical sword. They only have the ring now. And it just basically hops into everything's been fixed. King Tyler's ruling the kingdom, and he's got this wizard, like, you know, Merlin style, like, wizard that is in his court or whatever, and the son of the wizard is our main character, Simon, and he is apparently going to marry the daughter of the king, despite him being the son of the wizard and not in any kind of nobility.
Yeah, that feels weird.
That's kind of where we're dropped in.
I'm gonna go ahead and start with something that's not about the movie, like the contents. And it's that this movie feels so thin because of the runtime and how much it crams in here. But at the same time, it somehow is the fattest movie I think I've ever watched. I have never experienced a movie like this. Because it feels like this movie was 3 hours long, but at the same time it was 45 minutes long. And it was neither of those. It crams in so much story in such a terrible way. And then when it gets to like these fight scenes a lot, during like the middle chunk of the movie, Nathan put it like in the trivia or whatever, like apparently this movie actually has 58 minutes, I believe, of footage. And this movie is an hour 18. So there is 20 minutes of stuff that wasn't filmed for this movie that's just thrown in that makes no sense whatsoever. It just pads out
everything. Do you
everything.
want to know what sections those are?
No, because I feel like I know
Yeah.
what they are. I don't...
Because it's none
It's
of
just
those
so
fight
padded
scenes.
out.
Just to be fair, it's none of those fight scenes.
It's just the intro and the...
Well, no, it's the opening intro. It is the little gnome wizard, his flashback thing.
Oh, yeah. The one with the village, and they
what
find
was
the
other
sword.
one? There's some other thing where they do like a kind of like flashback into a different time period. I think maybe it was the scene with the bug lady.
Yeah.
Or the undead.
Where the
lady.
two things are fighting each other, because the like evil wizard with the half snake looking face is actually the main villain of
That movie.
Deathstalkers or something like that.
Oh,
Deathstalkers. That's a cool name, though.
that's a cool name. I like that
The
name.
band name.
Made by the same person that made this movie, so another classic.
Well, hopefully they're not making movies anymore.
Oh, I hope they are.
Yeah.
I feel like these kind of movies need to come back. This stuff is so funny.
Well,
Just
they will
low
because
budget.
where the writer strike is going on for exactly 100 days today. That's going to age this video a little bit, but
Well, and D&D is really making such a strong resurgence
Right.
that there is room, I feel like, for lots of low budget, bad rush production films like this.
well, so to your point, right? Like we just had the Dungeons and Dragons movie come out, which was actually very good.
So I haven't seen it.
And no, it was actually
It's pretty
it was
good.
actually pretty
Yeah.
good. So I think you're right. We're ripe for a bunch of terrible.
Oh,
Dungeons and Dragons movies.
I know D&D is having such a huge resurgence
Mhm.
because I have had people that are like, I mean, they're just like,
Not geeky people.
older guys in our office
Yeah.
have mentioned things about D&D.
Mhm.
Like it is
They're getting into it like
really
golf.
like coming into a whole new era of like modern cultural awareness.
Mhm.
Well, let's talk about something that's not near as good, and that is this movie.
Yeah, so this movie's pacing, I had said it while we were watching it, is the movie is running, and then the movie is immediately stopping, and then, like, dry heaving and vomiting everywhere.
It's like a 16-year-old trying to learn how to drive for the first time.
Yes,
You
and
know,
then-
and foot on the gas and then slamming on the brake.
And then running again, like, and it is just that tempo throughout the whole film. But it really does feel like the way that they narratively structured it, it's like you're gonna run for about 20 minutes, and it does not matter where you are in this movie.
Nope.
Everything comes to a screeching skull or stop, and then it does not matter. In 20 minutes, we will start running again, and it doesn't matter if we're
And
focused on
there's
the
a
kid.
decent chance that whatever happened is not
No-
relevant.
Not at all.
to-
Not at all.
Like there's going to be so many little like it's okay. So this has the structure of a comedy movie.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
skit based.
It is.
And the skits don't actually matter to the overall story.
No.
But they're not really actually that funny.
Mm-mm.
They're only funny in the fact that they're bad,
You're right.
and that's what makes them funny.
It's funny because we're laughing at it.
But it's not so bad it's funny, though. Like, Thanksgiving is, like, still going for something and going for
Thanksgiving
a
is
comedy.
trying to be a
Trying
comedy.
to be a
This wasn't
comedy.
trying to be a comedy.
This was trying to be an
I'm not
epic.
sure what this movie was trying to be, but I'm not so sure that they were trying to be serious.
An epic
I swear, I
fantasy.
feel like somebody managed to get the green light on their personal D&D campaign. Like they just wrote
Maybe.
notes from what happened in their personal D&D campaign.
And then they
And
put it on the
so,
screen.
and here's the thing: I think main character in their story
Yeah.
was not a little kid, but
Okay.
there is some top of the list executive that was like, you know what, we need to market this to kids. The lead has to be a kid. Also, Star Wars is doing really well. We need a Chewbacca. Put in a white fursuit.
We have
Who
to have
makes
some
some
kind of
whale
animal.
noises. Okay, let's talk about unequivocally the best part of this movie, and that is Colfax. He's
Cumberag himself.
He's this giant, like, Chewbacca knockoff that looks like the suit got melted a little bit.
His
and just
feet
like
has
are
no
so,
face.
his feet
Sure.
are so much bigger than the rest of him too.
It's
Massive.
I don't know what purpose he serves this movie. He backhands one bad guy at one point, and that's literally all he does. He just goes
He was
all
a,
the time.
He was a shoulder to
He-
cry
you know,
on at some point.
Yeah, he was.
He was more like a crotch to cry on. because
Yeah,
he
he
was so
was.
much taller
Yeah.
than anybody that was.
Yeah, Dylan,
like,
speaking of
around him.
Colfax's crotch,
The best
What is
scene
your
in this
favorite part?
The best scene in this movie, hands down. One of the servants finds the ring in the room that they've been looking for not nearly long enough, apparently. And then found the ring, hooray! And he goes to run to go give it to Jafar, or whatever his name is. And then literally you hear the deepest, darkest synth occur.
it could be the intro for Pornhub. That noise.
Yeah.
That, it's almost.
Well, it's
that.
not as tuba-y. It's like it's definitely more
true.
menacing because it's like whoa, but not in like the
Inception
Nolan
kinda way?
not in the Nolan Inception way, but like in a keyboard, you hit the deepest. Like when you're playing with a keyboard, you just found the deep.
Yeah,
key.
you're just playing on the deep side. Of
Yeah.
the keyboard.
So the dwarf just turns and see
Whoa.
Colfax's
just
dick,
see-
and Colfax is just going like this.
Colfax's thick dick right at center volume, right to the and then the kid comes over and blocks him from the other one, and he's just like. In the most like not good guy way possible.
Oh yeah.
The court like
it's the moment where it does like it just does this heel turn of like they are the bad guys.
yeah, like Hannah watched this one specific clip and she was like, "Those are the bad guys, right?" And I was like, "No, those are in fact the heroes of this movie, or so this movie would make us believe." The next best part is obviously the titty mermaid. because
That was so random.
dude,
really
there was no
was.
way
What-
this movie's
was
that bad. It
any
doesn't show
more
nudity.
random than anything else that was happening? in
No,
this
it's no
movie?
more random
It
than the bat
really
chasing him through the
was.
cave.
Like there were so many. Like
What
I
about
said,
the dragon
Like
dinosaur?
if everyone
No.
would show any kind of nudity, it would make sense when they had that crazy as hell flashback where. Like
They're
he got
sacrificing
drugged,
the
they're
lady on the
sacrificing the
altar.
lady, and she's obviously supposed to be nude.
She had much nicer boobs.
but
I
she,
preferred her.
but she just had like two cloths just covering her boobs.
Yeah.
And like if that was a place
You know
like they
what?
would have done it there, and that scene. Wait a second,
That came
completely
from
went
another
off the
movie.
rails.
That was from another movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes
I was
sense
gonna
because
say, I'm not convinced that it's not the same girl.
there's a dragon who's flying in outer space with the head of a lion.
So,
and
I
all
think-
this. It's
I really want to see where all these clips
God.
came from specifically because I think they actually superimposed that stuff.
Mhm.
Like I think they recomposed scenes from another movie to make that scene, and I don't think any of that is actually like wholly originally from some other movie.
Right. Like there's no way like the flying dragon.
Like the random
Dog
weird
thingy.
fighting stuff in the sky, I don't think that actually came from another movie specifically.
Yeah.
I think they just lifted some assets basically.
Yeah.
sorry,
Or
Mason.
added
What were you
something.
saying?
No, I was just gonna say like the woman in the murky water, the mermaid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like
In the
ev-
shit water.
Honestly, that was
But
sewage.
yeah, why would you want to be a mermaid of that river?
Right.
It's like, oh, I
You got
swim
the shitty
underwater.
end of the
In the water, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
And she should be like a pale, kind of like blind, kind
Yes.
of cave dwelling.
kind of pasty. You know
Yeah.
the classic evil
Yeah.
mermaids. Anyway, Mason.
Everything that happened in this movie, I thought was more of like a test. Everything that they came across was just
Oh,
another
kind of like the
test.
Green Knight.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Oh,
Honestly.
Yeah.
I see that.
And to me, it's like the mermaid was literally a test. She was like, I just
Well,
want to see if you would save me.
She said that she was testing their manhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she didn't
That could
test
be
their
taken any
manhood
which
like
way.
she should have.
Colfax didn't need to.
To be fair,
Yeah.
she did sway them by being topless.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Both
'cause her
times.
like if she was completely clothed,
Yeah.
that probably sways it a little bit. I don't know that Core would jump in after
she's a
her.
prude.
I wouldn't.
Anyways, but yeah, everything that happened was just a random test, and I do think that was the structure of this movie, where it's like adventurers moved to one thing after another.
What did
to
he
get back to
learn?
the castle.
What was it?
I could
what were
see it
his
for
tests?
the fly. The fly is.
He got better at magic.
Yeah, the fly is
He's
like.
already good at magic.
No.
Good. Also, don't
he
eat
made that
butt
pillow
flies.
talk. That's all he could do. You'd be like, watch, I'll
Yeah.
shake that tassel over there.
Yeah, and I'll make this gargoyle
And
make
then he,
weird
and
noises.
then he made the things kill him.
he was a legit like warlock. By the
Wait,
end of this thing.
okay, no, this is actually the same universe as Things Killing, because there's no way the way he animates that thing, that definitely looks like the Things Killing turkey, is not the same magic that also is the
That's
Indian burial
the
dragon.
turkey.
Like, look, we'll just do an audio edit where it has the Go Long Johnny.
Go long, Johnny. Yeah.
Oh, Dad, you and your bad memory.
Right,
Yeah.
He just had like a sheriff's hat on.
Yeah. There's...
I need to put that movie back on the wheel.
No, you don't.
Please don't.
Yeah, so Wizards of the Lost Kingdom. I
Shape
think
of the movie.
shape of the movie? Fat, thin, perfectly fit?
Do it, Dylan.
This movie is perfectly fit. It's an hour and 18 minutes. And it gave us so much yet so little. So I can't possibly say it's thin or fat because it is also simultaneously both. This movie is actually just everything.
It really
It's
like,
a buffet of
It's a buffet.
buffet.
Yeah.
It somehow toes the line of being the right amount of time while also overindulging and underindulging in equal measure, back and forth,
Yeah.
constantly.
This is Jack's perfect moderation, is what this is.
God. Yeah, this movie's fat and thin. I already said it earlier.
I think we
but
all
it's
have a
both.
question, but I do have a question after all of this.
Okay.
Okay, we'll say what's the shape? We've all said fat and thin.
No, this movie's fit as a whistle.
Yeah.
I love this. This was insanely okay.
Can we get the Batman in 3 hours cut down to an hour 18 minutes with random footage from other Batman
Yeah.
movies, maybe?
Basically,
Of
that's
different
what it would
Batman.
take.
Yeah.
This, I mean, you got a lot of Core's character, which it sometimes felt like it was supposed to be charming,
Mhm.
but I don't know that he actually lived up to his
He-
charming
no.
measure.
Just came off as kind of a groomer several
Yeah.
times.
Towards the second half.
Yeah, the second
yes.
half, yeah.
But
He
at
was
the
a-
beginning,
he was so weird.
he was.
Just the whole way through.
You could tell though that he was like the actor of the movie.
Oh,
Yeah, this
amongst
guy.
everyone that
Well, he
couldn't
gets
do
top
anything.
billing.
He was top
Yeah.
billing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you could
Good point.
tell that he was basically, and maybe he wasn't overacting. Maybe everyone else is just so bad that he was actually doing what he was meant to do.
Well, he probably was compensating, right? If they're
Maybe.
if they're under, you got to go over to make it.
you got to shoot for the stars.
Right. I like that. Literally, half of the people he fights, he's like dialoguing with. He's like, "You sure you want to do this?" And they're like,
Like the one guy with the black knight
Yeah.
who had his sword
Yeah.
or whatever is like, you really need to know how to
Like,
use
you
this.
need training for something like this.
Yeah.
And he's
And
just
it's like he spazzes out, and it takes like
Runs
a
away in a
there's
a
fast
Looney
pass.
Tunes.
there's like a 5 seconds Looney Tunes running away point.
the fact that we don't hear the that
Or
running noise.
the Scooby Doo that
Yeah.
and like he's just like running on
Or
land.
he just ran in place for a second and then took
Yeah,
off.
the fact that the movie didn't. All right, so let's listen. I think, and Price, before we're getting in the scores, I think this movie had a lot of restraint on how much more bad it could have been.
No,
Like stuff we're talking
bad.
about is exactly the kind of stuff that puts it at totally almost unforgivable.
Which is why I don't think this movie took itself seriously. I really
No,
don't.
this movie is taking the piss out of piss, bro. Like, well, it's
I don't
taking
know what
the
that
cum
means,
out of
but I don't think they're
Colfax.
taking
It's,
themselves seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think it's endearingly funny
Yes.
in a way in which they didn't necessarily intend, but they got there in a way that is just, it's, I don't know. Like, I don't hate.
If you told me this
the way
movie
that
had like a
this
strong
was.
cult following, low key, I would not be surprised.
I mean, there's so many goofy things they do, like the Cyclops who's wearing the helmet that clearly is not at all shaped to like have him be able to see out of.
You know what you could do with this movie? You could, and not up until like the mermaid scene doesn't get tricky, but you could Rocky Horror Picture Show this. You could put it up on the projector and just do a stage version of it
Mm-hmm.
at all times. You just need flimsy castle. You need forest. I guess you need that little candy shack of the elves or whatever.
God.
That part's a little tricky.
Of the little, yeah.
But then, like, minus
Just
the
spray
waterfalls.
paint a little section of your woods in the background.
Right, right. You only need like 4 sets, and you could easily do this as like a Rocky Horror Picture style like presentation / like stage play.
All right, I think the questions are going to take up the most time on this podcast. So
Okay.
who's going first?
Fine.
I raised my hand first.
Dylan raised his
I
hand.
raised my hand first. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you were looking that way. Maybe he raised his hand.
No, I was looking at Mason.
I have great
Okay.
peripheral vision.
He doesn't.
Everybody says it. It's the best.
He's got these
Dylan.
10 and 2
I'm the best.
chameleon
It's
eyes,
the best.
just like
like the lady
Simon.
from that one part.
Oh, yeah, the fly girl. Yeah.
Oh my god.
All
We
right.
didn't even talk about that scene.
No.
Where he just keeps stabbing,
Yeah.
stabbing.
And it is not reacting at all.
Yeah.
Just
Dude,
Mountain Dew
Simon
flooding
goes
out.
from like full on fear to like I've got everything under control.
Yeah, Core comes up and sees the fly on
Yeah,
top
yeah,
of
He's just
here
like,
you go.
here's a dagger. And
Yeah,
then he
figure
just
it out.
sits there just watching
Like,
him. Just like, yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
another
Sever
test.
it.
Make her bleed. Yeah.
Stab her again.
Yeah, Core. That's kind of where we start to question Core's like moral ambiguity on this one.
No, but then he turns into this fatherly figure. It's like I'm gonna let my son handle it.
Yeah,
This
you
is
know
a
what?
learning curve.
I could rescue him, but I want him to kill
And
this
I'm
fly
gonna
lady.
scold him whenever he raises a
Yeah.
band of
Right,
heroes
yeah.
from the dead.
Necromancy.
I'm gonna
Okay.
make him
And that scene
traumatized.
took so long,
No,
where they're
yeah.
like mush, 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 and then they walk into the ground. Sorry, Dylan, please go.
My question, and I think Nathan's gonna love this question the most in theory. My question is, okay, you're in that situation. The kids get freed, and you see all this. Like these kids are like 13 to
I
you know,
know
9 to
where this
13.
is going.
How many of these kids do you beat before they take you
Do
down?
you have a weapon?
You absolutely had a weapon. They had a weapon.
Yeah.
How many others of there are of you? Like, how many other adults are there? Is it just you against a horde of children?
Okay, here. Let's say this. Let's say there's 5 of you with weapons, and there's probably about 100 kids. Do you take the wave?
Yeah.
No, I'm getting smoked.
You're getting smoked.
I don't think you like. It depends upon just. Do you have a choke point and things like that?
Let's
Like,
no. You're in that. You're in the
if
Coliseum.
if
They're
in a
pouring
big
in like
open-
zombies.
So you're in
Are
an
they
open,
frail from
you're
not
in an
eating for
open
2 days?
field,
Open space.
You can't really be like back against the wall. If you're just straight up in the open, and these kids are not afraid to die.
Yeah.
They're going
You're
for
toast.
it.
They're going for it.
You're not gonna beat that.
You're
There-
toast.
no.
They
listen,
will maul you
If
down.
there's 5 of you, weapon. That's like 20. That's 20 a kid,
Well,
right?
it happened
and I
in
know
Game of
swarm math
Thrones.
doesn't translate.
They all back to back
It's- yeah.
in a circle.
Listen, 5. It's. I think if
Yeah,
you
I
told
think
me, can you take 20 kids
can each
with a
person-
weapon?
Yeah.
And they're 9 to
But
13.
but that's not how it's going to work out. Somebody's going to be getting hit with 60 kids.
Yeah, someone's
while the
getting hit
other
by
ones are
60.
not
Are getting
getting-
about 3
fa-
each.
The phalanx
And they're
will
waiting
break.
for kids while the other one's like, I need help.
I'm not saying that all
That
of
one
you are
took my
making them,
sword.
but one of them is finishing the job of the 100.
Yeah.
That's me, but I got the dog in me. So
I got that dog.
I got the dog in me.
I think I could. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you could.
All right, let's
These
freaking-
kids are hungry though.
they haven't eaten in a day and a half.
They're hungry for more than just food.
Yeah, they literally. It felt like they were eating
I mean,
the people.
kids are really weak, but
Bro,
I don't think so.
There has to be something that accounts for the volume of
9,
like,
10, 11.
Their
I know,
bodies
volume-
are
it
going
makes a
to
big
stack
difference.
up, so it's going to make it harder for the other ones to climb over the dead bodies.
Right.
of the
We're
other
only talking
kids.
about 100. We're not
Listen.
talking about 10,000.
I know.
Yeah,
but
what I'm saying is like the weight of just like the sheer number
Number of-
of them.
I don't.
You
Like,
can
have
get
you ever
overrun.
had like 6 kids like pulling on your arms or anything?
Yeah, and I've beat all 6 of them before.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the
'Cause
thing.
I got that dog in
But
me.
These
was
two
there, like,
weaklings
was
over
there
here.
a little like could you see if there were maybe 12 of them and 2 of them were on your back?
Listen,
And they were
It
12.
gets harder the more they are, but that's why. Listen, the
Nathan's
older-
talking about 8-year-olds or less. We're talking about some damn 14-year-olds.
Planet Fitness crafted the bodies you
Oh,
see
true.
before you.
It's
that
nothing
can
but
handle
Yeah.
this many kids.
All I'm saying is, I had a younger brother who was 8 years younger. So whenever I was like 16, him and his friends were 8, and I took out 9 of them easy in a backyard one
You
time.
can't tell me your little brother had 9 friends.
Dude, 9 friends, the whole neighborhood came out. I
I
clapped
don't
every
think
single
so.
one of those kids.
clap those cheeks,
Clap
just like the enemy leader did of all those kids.
Yeah, every single one. Jafar definitely was sneaking into those jail cells. That's why that one was tied up and all the rest of them.
That was an old man.
Well, I think he looked like a teenager. Rewind that clip. We'll rewind it later. I'm pretty
Roll
sure
that
it's a
beautiful
teenager.
Jamie, run that back.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my question.
All right, next question.
All right, my question is much less fun. Starting with Dylan,
Yeah.
which side quest did you want more of?
Like, which one of those little things?
Which one of they
Mermaid,
that they
no
encountered?
question.
I figured that was yours.
Mermaid,
Well, what
no
is-
question.
But what more could
Washing
there
the
have
poop
been?
water.
Are you kidding me? What about the little?
I mean, they
the-
did
the
literally
lawn
go on
dome?
location to a massive waterfall and did barely anything.
No,
Yeah.
there were
Yeah.
so many groups of people. There was the Cyclops. There was the little.
He chose
yard
the mermaid.
gnome.
He chose the
Yeah,
mermaid.
maybe, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, they're at the coolest part. I can't swim, so I'm intrigued to see how that goes for me. The
I'm
mermaid's
really
topless.
just a numbers guy. I don't know.
And she just conjures fucking Rainbow Lane or whatever
Yeah, that
from
was
Mario.
cool. She just went.
Yeah, she clearly has some magic.
Just
There's a
follow
lot
the
to
rainbow. It's
Yeah.
like, what? So we're walking on the rainbow?
We're walking on
Also,
the
as a
rainbow.
mermaid-
Yeah, they could have shown that.
Yeah.
She definitely had more like aerial magic than like underwater magic.
Right,
as a mermaid,
like,
which is a little strange.
I'm so intrigued by like all of that. There's
Yeah.
a rich history there that's worth
Maybe-
exploring.
maybe-
I mean,
the number
do you
2 is
want
about that.
underwater magic when you live in Mud River?
Right.
That's how she has to see. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Surely
probably.
she.
All right.
You know what? Clear as day under there. I bet.
Probably.
What
That's
I
her magic.
the one I want to see more of is definitely the HUD of the Santa's elf guy.
That
Because
was
first of
cool.
all,
Yeah.
I want Core to get plastered because he's apparently drinking wine all the time. That's
He's taking
clear.
shots of wine at a time.
Clear as water.
It's actually vodka, but apparently it's wine. And then like they were like, "Why are you even like leaving here?" He's like, "Well, I can't do magic outside of this little area, but I was only going to take on Jafar." And I wanted to be like, "What are you talking about?" And then there's like raptor people outside, and
Those
then
are kobolds.
Yeah, cool.
Those are like
Very
frogs.
cool.
or
in the
something
in the
weird.
way that they beat them, it's just a little kid going like, "Ah," and then like zapping the big one. Like I wanted way more of all that.
I think Lizard Tor.
Lizard
Lizard
talk.
Tar.
That's her. Him.
Okay,
Carl.
I'm choosing Santa's elf.
Yeah, that probably would have been my choice too.
Same.
I feel like that was a very, very goofy situation.
But you can
Yeah.
pick
and
the
I feel
kids
like
at
a
the
lot
end.
of the other ones were all like as fleshed out as they needed to be. Like I think the Cyclops stuff was really funny. Just the look of those characters and the fact that they sounded like Muppets and looked kind of like Muppets was like such an awesome break
Yeah.
from the feel of everything else. I want a movie that feels more like that. Like that kind of goofy comedy stuff, I think would be fantastic.
Mason, can you hit the invisible wall for me?
Blow.
You gotta do that flashy light. It's not gonna translate.
Mine's definitely when Core first gets introduced, and like the guys are just like,
Mhm.
"Do you guys want a piece of this?"
It's like, y'all sure you don't want to fight me over
Yeah.
this? Like, oh,
With
uh-huh.
zero context.
Yeah, and just claps all 5 of those kids.
Yeah, with
All
like
the kids.
swooping motions and like
Yeah.
dancing.
Yeah, it gets
maneuvers.
2 of them to hit each other, and then he just looks back and just like,
Damn, I'm good.
That's some damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That's what I wanted more of.
Nathan, do you have a question too?
No.
All right, I
Not really.
got one. This movie or Excalibur, but 30 minutes are trimmed off
From this movie or
from
Excalibur?
Excalibur.
From this movie.
So
Well, which 30 minutes?
Excalibur's still like 2 hours long.
Which
This movie.
Let's say the
100
epilogue
times.
part, like where Lancelot like is there and stuff.
Oh, I love that part. No,
Does it
yeah,
say
if
he
you
was
cut
a
that.
baby?
The Lancelot lost in the
Lost in the
woods and
Forest
stuff.
ones, yeah. No, that's the favorite part. But
That's where it really feels like you're like in a fever dream.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's just like the movie just keeps going and you're just like, I don't even understand. I feel like the story could have ended.
Right.
But we're just still going.
I thought it was
You're
over.
right.
Still going.
Yeah. I mean, if you cut out the Lancelot parts, it's this movie. If you add them back in, it's Excalibur.
I thought you were gonna say it's still this movie.
Mine's actually Excalibur, funnily enough.
Excalibur had a lovely amount of nudity with real actors.
Whoa!
Excalibur
What are you trying
has
to say?
higher production value.
Yeah.
This has the kind of B-movie low-budget vibe that I like.
You do.
This feels like this got to use parts of Excalibur like 10 years after, and it like was decaying.
Yeah,
and they got to use that. as a
they
set.
just found some old sets and stuff.
Right.
Just out in
Just
the
the
woods.
carcass of the movie.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys feel compelled to watch any more movies
No.
of this kind?
I will watch
Absolutely.
the second one.
I will
Yes.
watch every single
Yeah.
one that you make me watch on this show.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
with Dylan.
I will
Well,
watch the second one.
There's a decent chance that every season something like this will be shown up.
Something only one
Shocker.
though.
At least, you know. I have watched probably like 15 movies like this.
I'm waiting for you to.
This one stood out above the
Watch.
rest.
Are you watching them or fully watching, not
No.
doing anything else?
That's the way I watch things.
So he's playing Switch, doing laundry.
Hey, he was.
Eating
He
dinner.
remembered plenty from this.
Yeah,
though.
he did.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Let's give the man some credit.
Right.
I can split focus pretty well, I think.
I can't.
Mason
That's okay.
can't. Mason will totally just miss total parts of like important parts of
If
movies.
there's a raccoon game on the side,
Yeah.
just
GG.
no chance.
Critters.
Yeah, if you gotta
Yeah.
watch
Forget
out for
about
if
it.
you gotta watch that hawk and make sure you don't get your babies.
Yeah. I got like all the babies in it too. All right, guys, let's get in the scores. So Nathan's over there, so I guess I'll start. Fuck, I don't know what the score of this movie is. This movie's this feels like a 5.5. This movie's like bad, but I like beaming on it.
Oh wait, how many times has everybody seen this movie?
Twice now.
1.8
What?
times.
I've seen it twice in 24 hours now because you guys
I've seen
couldn't
it 3
tell me.
times.
Yeah.
3 times. So okay, he's seen it twice. Go
Yes. This. No, you know what? I'll run it to a 6. It feels like
Hell yeah.
It's
Grow that puppy.
it's right in that spot where it's like annoyingly fun and like painfully enjoyable. Yeah, that's how I would describe it. Like as I'm watching this movie, I'm like, God, I could be doing anything else, and that's probably a better
I think
use
this
of
is
my
a
time.
really good put it on a background in a party
Yeah.
kind of situation.
Yeah.
I've been doing Never Back Down for a while, but this one is on YouTube.
Don't
I
you
could
dare.
easily just
That's
toss
a good
it
because
in.
you look up and there's a naked mermaid. You look
Yeah.
up another time there's kids drop kicking people.
Right.
And
Yeah.
just flinging their bodies as like big like flying squirrels
Yeah.
into
You
people.
watch wizards shooting spells at each other and like dodging after the shots have taken
And
place.
do-
The
and
dramatic vampire
And doing the cool moves.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're dancing.
Like Mac from Always
Yeah,
Sunny.
Jafar had the sickest poses, bro. Don't at me. Yeah, this movie's a 6. Like, it's bad, but it's like, it's good and it's bad. Price.
This movie, if I could somehow give this movie a 0.1, I would.
Oh.
I
God.
did not like anything about this movie.
You were
I
laughing.
hate
You
how I was
were
like
laughing.
because I was with you all and we're making fun of it. If I was by myself,
Sometimes we make fun of you.
Yeah, we give you a better score than you're about to
At a
give
point
Kevin.
what?
but if I like was watching this by myself, watching it how I watch movies, which is just watching the movie, I would be detesting the entire 1 hour, 18 minutes, 26 seconds that this movie's on because there's nothing I find good about it because like it's not like so bad it's funny kind of way like The Room
Oh
or
my God.
like they're trying to make it so bad it's funny like Thanksgiving.
This movie's better than The Room.
This movie doesn't succeed at anything, in my opinion. The only reason I'd give it the 0.1 and I'm gonna go ahead and bump it to that 0.5.
Ooh.
Just for the sake of, like, I feel like my zeros are an illustrious club, that this one somehow misses by the skin of its teeth because of one character that I've been infatuated with ever since this movie was picked, and that is Colfax.
Colfax.
I find him so engrossing every time he's on screen, because I'm just like, I don't know what person designed this and thought, like, this is going to sell some toys like Chewbacca. Like, this is going to be something.
This was an executive's decision.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, like,
that was bargain hunt Chewbacca for sure.
this was Ollie's Chewbacca.
Ollie's Chewbacca.
Like, and he sold it for me. Like, the reason I'm not giving a 0 is simply because of him. So that's all I have to say about that.
Well,
Mason.
I hate that it got a 0.5 from Price. I'm with Dylan. I think this movie's definitely a 6. I think it's fun in its own ways. I think that it's like, I don't know. The fact that it is only basically 55 to 60 minutes long.
Of actual movie.
Yeah, of actual like
Yeah,
content.
you can skip that whole intro easy.
Oh yeah, might as well.
Yeah, because it's
You
nothing
said
to
an hour
do with the
18.
movie.
We could have started at the the 18-minute mark and
Yeah.
been all right.
I thought it was a trailer. Like,
It was
like,
for
showing
his
you what-
other movies,
movie.
basically.
Yeah. He's just using it as a plot line point to steal to this movie.
He's establishing the world.
It's a shared universe, you see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, like a Marvel before
Yeah.
Marvel.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Most ambitious crossover of all time.
But yeah, I think that this movie was fun in some ways. There was a few characters that I really enjoyed, but I don't know. It was, for an hour and 18 minutes, perfectly fine. I had no issues with the length on this movie. 80 minutes, roughly, right?
80 minutes, give me 85.
Yeah. Give me 83. Let's get
I mean, we
crazy.
hit credits right around 87, so we got a few more minutes than we care to admit.
Yeah. But yeah, 6 for me.
Take it away, Nathan.
We don't have the button.
Where's
This-
that? I'll do
this movie, again, it is the best that I've seen so far of 1985's, not just 85, like the 1980s in general, this kind of movie.
It's very
They
specific.
well, no, it's not. That's actually not very specific because
There's no
they
less
made
than 12.
so many
Yeah,
of
they made
these kind of
Excalibur.
movies.
I
during
believe you.
that
This is just
decade.
not my wheelhouse whatsoever.
Like it's kind of overwhelming and hard to keep track of what you've seen and what you haven't seen
because they're all
of
the
just
same
how
movie.
much
Yeah.
there is and how much they overlap and how many times you'll like see somebody just playing in multiple roles and it's a mess. But this one stands out as being, just that little cut above in the way that it is so goofy and so openly low budget. I think it's a pretty fun ride. I think it does waste your time, but that's sometimes that's what you're in for. And for that, I think I'll give it like a 7. I feel like it's a good.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's a
it's-
fair.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Nathan likes this as much as Tower of God. Think about that for a second.
That's Nathan.
That means I actually think
There's
that he actually
Nathan.
really likes Tower of God. Man.
Yeah.
He's downplaying how much he likes
I mean,
it.
they kill a fly and it does bleed Mountain Dew.
It does. It's definitely Mountain Dew.
Dude, that green stuff that kid was drinking, that was like the
Mountain Dew.
Green drink.
The green drink.
Mhm.
It was from what's that scary movie? Sinister.
Oh.
Remember he drank that neon green stuff at the very, very end, and that's
Yeah.
what like.
I think I was
caused the
too.
videotapes to
I think I
happen?
was too scared by that point.
You're probably doing this.
that
at
I was
Yeah,
just
just-
like checked out, just like let it be over.
Is the lawnmower gone?
Yeah, once the lawnmower came on, it was over for me.
Is there any critic scores on this movie?
I'll look it up.
Oh,
while
it's
you
pretty
spin.
bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. I think
We need to see that before we spin that bad boy wheel. Make sure you tighten that up for me, buddy.
So
Damn, you're
IMDb
quick.
gives it a 2.9 out of 10,
Yes.
and Rotten Tomatoes we've got a
Audience score of 20%.
well, so there's an audience score of 20% with 100 ratings and literally no score from critics.
Hey, it's not in their it's not in their agenda.
Nobody's
Nope. One critic rated it, Emmanuel Levy at EmmanuelLevy.com. He gave it a 3 out of 5 on June 17th,
This man
2005.
knows.
yeah, this is 7? Yeah.
I'm gonna go to his
We
website.
could be these critics rating
We
this
could.
movie. right
I mean,
now.
all we got to do is,
Apply
you
to
just
be
need a
critics.
website, apparently.
What's
That's
that?
all he's got.
Oh, man.
All right.
Sex guarantee.
He's reviewed so much.
That was my nickname in high school.
Yeah.
That was Colfax's name.
He did
Colfax
Buck,
is-
that's
Buck
still
and
his
the
name.
Preacher. I'm sorry. Go ahead. That was a good spin.
It was a good spin. Nice hearty spin.
I know
Juice
exactly
on
how
that
much
one.
gas to put on it.
What we got?
Groundhog Day, but more JK.
That's
Oh,
yours.
Palm Springs.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. I don't
know what
I don't know what
that
that
is.
movie is.
It's
I don't-
Hulu classic. Hulu
You haven't seen
original.
Palm Springs?
Oh, well,
Andy Samberg.
half of us haven't seen it. That fits our old criteria for the first season of F and Movie
I
Podcast.
totally forgot about that.
You remember-
being-
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have
Yeah.
that criteria. Well, we had to throw that away because we all watched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We watched all of our movies, and then we were like, ah, fuck it.
Well, I mean, you guys haven't watched all the movies I have.
Well, that's
but-
well, we're slowly getting there. You've only watched 30 movies your whole life before this podcast. So.
well, you've seen movies like this and haven't seen like Inglorious Bastards before we watched it, so.
Oh, I had seen that. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff.
As I say, the
that I
point
don't-
is there
Yeah,
that like you
yeah.
miss a lot of the popular
Yeah.
stuff, but see, I would never have found this movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But it found you. You
Yeah.
lucky dog.
Yeah.
You
It-
lucky
it found-
Goldfax.
It found me twice in 24 hours. I don't know if I'm blessed or cursed.
I hope
Anyway,
it
guys,
finds you again tomorrow.
don't. Make sure to tune in next week for Palm Beach.
Springs.
Springs.
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
We're jumping forward about 40 years past this movie.
Yeah,
45 or so.
give or take. Anyway, if you like the content we're doing, make sure to let us know in the comments below. What did you think? Do you think that this is going to be the best D&D movie of the 80s ever? Maybe of all time? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Also, hit the bell. Because that way you know
Much
when we
love.
upload our sweet, sweet content. Sometimes we don't even know. That's the best joke. I like using that one. Give us a thumbs up, because Colfax fucks. And make sure to subscribe to the channel, because Colfax is a dirty cum rag. That's our show, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
There goes our ad revenue.
Yeah. Hey, I saved it for the end of the video.
I said it at the beginning too.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, you did.
So there's only 4 movies left after Palm Springs.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, we got my movie. We got.
I have a.